Hi, welcome to part 3. Hopefully you're doing this right after part 2 where I got cut off, where we were tilting the legs to the side. So if not, take a moment to pause and do a scan. And when you feel ready, we'll be on the back in this position with the right leg crossed over the left, pouring the legs to the right and back. If you've done part 1 and part 2, you've done this movement before, so notice what's different now. Or if you're just coming into this after part 2, continue. That's the best place to start. And if you're coming in now new, just play with the movement. Right leg crosses all the way over the left. Feel the shifting pressure under the left foot. Continue this movement. I will demo some and then come back. Always rewind if you want to see the demo again. So the legs are pouring to the right. And you could call this a leg complex. We're tilting the leg complex to the right. And notice how your pelvis turns as you bring your legs to the right. What's happening in your pelvis? It's turning to the right because the weight of your ribs are also going to the right. See if you can sense that. Feeling how you're really pouring yourself to the right side of the pelvis, the right side of the ribs are all going to your right. And can you follow this movement up your back without forcing anything, but just feeling? How does it travel up your back? Can you feel it travel through your spine or not? Against the ground, you may feel some pressure changes that indicate a flow up your spine as you tilt the legs. And if we looked at a skeleton, we would see that one vertebra at a time would be pulled down in that direction, which would eventually have an effect on the opposite shoulder and side of the neck. In the way we're doing it, it would be a positive effect. If you can't sense all the way up to your head or neck, don't worry. Just sense what you can sense, because that's what's important. Meeting yourself where you are, not having to be like anyone else or any standard. Just setting that standard. And you're still making this movement of pouring the legs to the right. Demo and seated, but you guys are doing this and lying down, and it doesn't have to be large. So again, it can be very small. We're just getting the beginning of what happens here. Not how far can I go, but what is going on here in this small movement. And then notice which way the head is rolling. We want more and more of ourselves to be involved in the movement. And that's part of this process as well. You can also do it in the imagination and get the same benefits. So if anything is uncomfortable, that's an option. But notice if your head begins to respond by rolling with the movement in the opposite direction, or if it responds by not moving, that's also a response. Does your head roll with the knees? Or does the head roll in opposition to the knees? And don't worry about what the reason is. You're just noticing. And if you didn't hold your head still, if it's still, which way would it roll? If it isn't rolling at all, the movement is stopping somewhere and stopping something, and that's okay. This is just part of a process. So everybody take a break and come to rest on your back and feel your contact once more with the floor, letting go of the crossing of the legs, resting as best as you can. Go back to feeling your contact. Go back to letting your breathing be easy if it started to change during the movements. Eventually, we want our breathing to be relaxed during all movements, but in the beginning, it can speed up. So notice, did it speed up? Is it calming and easing now? Once again, we'll come back to that same position. Legs are in standing, you're on your back, right leg comes over the left, and you're just going to tilt the leg complex to the right and back. Once more, so just go ahead and do that. Now you know you can roll the head if it's willing or interested. And now as you do this, breathe out as you tilt the legs to the right, and breathe in as you bring them back. So we're going to exhale the legs to the right and inhale, then back. Use your breath now to coordinate or choreograph, we could say, the movement. And allow the movement to go with that cycle of breath. The exhale as the legs fall over, the inhale as the knees return to the ceiling. Allow the movement to become smooth so that there's a relationship between the breathing and the movement. You may even find that on the inhalation, it's easier to bring the knees back up. Something about that inhalation helps the knees come back up a little easier. Something about the exhalation also makes it easy to port the legs. But if you disagree or you're curious, try breathing in a different way. So that's always encouraged. We are all our own scientists. I'm just giving you the best information I've found. So if you like, you're breathing out as you tilt and breathing in as you return. And you might notice something interesting, that when you do this, the left knee, it's not going to the side of your mat, it's more going diagonally down to the right diagonal side of your bed, your mat, your floor. So just notice it doesn't tilt straight. It actually makes like a weird arcing motion. And just noticing the left knee. And if there's anything you don't notice or it doesn't resonate, just dismiss it immediately. And can you begin to feel your weight getting really comfortable as you roll to the right? So notice if you're starting to feel more comfortable. So you can give your weight more and more to your right side as you take the legs, maybe the head, without forcing anything. Feeling the weight under your right side, allowing the head to respond if it will. And now allow the head, if it's not already, to turn in the same direction as the knees. So if it's not already doing this, it's almost as though your nose is attached to your knees and you're just taking the head and the knees together and back. As though the top of your spine feels what the bottom is doing. So my knees are right in line with my nose and back. So the head goes with the movement of the knees. It doesn't exceed the movement. It's almost like they feel each other as they are moving. Continue taking the head to the side you're rolling to. And don't go too far. Don't go too far. And then come and take a break and rest. Rest on your back if it's comfortable. Long legs and long arms if it's comfortable. Pausing to rest more. Some people need a 5-10 minute rest, and many don't, so I don't make the videos that way, but always pause if you need a moment longer. And we always go back to this place. Let's check in with our right side and our left side and see what is happening there now. Notice if you feel any differentiation on the right side now. We were pouring the weight to the right. What do you notice there now? Notice if there are any changes in yourself relative to the floor, or in the feeling or sensation of your right side or your left side. And now for the next movement you choose, if you want legs standing or long, I'm going to demonstrate with legs in standing, but they can also be long. In this position, you're going to bring your arms up into what we call a triangle. So the shoulders are on the ground, the palms are glued together, and the arms are straight but not locked. So they're relatively straight. From here, we're going to take our triangle a little bit to the left and back. So I'm going to my left and I'm coming back. So make that movement with your arms, and notice you can't bend the elbows, so it's not like you can go farther. Keep those elbows straight. That'll keep you honest about how far you can go with this movement. And what you'll start to feel is that the right shoulder is picking up from the ground and the weight is moving over to the left shoulder. See if you notice that. Continue to do this movement of taking your triangle formation arms to the left, allowing it to be smoother with every movement. Knowing you don't have to do it large, everything we do is without strain. And look at your triangle hands, look at your thumbs if you can. So if you're not already, look at the hands that are moving. And each time you come back to the middle, rest so it's very clear before you start again. Pause and rest, and then take the hands and arms again to your left. Feeling that the base of the triangle is the back of your shoulders and the apex is the two hands, taking that whole triangle to your left, just a little. You won't be able to go very far, so don't try. We just want a little. And the next time you come back, come to rest. You can rest your arms and legs if you want. And if at any point you feel fatigue in muscles or strain, some people have trouble holding their arms up, and we're going to do it for longer in a moment. If you feel like you're working really hard to hold up your arms, instructions are for the general group, so it's always important to take care of yourself. The moment you feel fatigue or boredom, you pause and rest. If you want to keep going during the rest with the movements, that's also encouraged. So you finding your own pacing is very important for these lessons. When you're ready, we're going to just bring the legs to standing. Oh no, I'm sorry. We're going to actually go back to the triangle, and we're going to tilt to the left again. Those legs can be in standing or long. I'm going to demonstrate in standing. We're going to take the triangle once again to the left and back. And just do that a few times. Triangle goes to the left and back. Gently and easily, but look at the hands. So look at the hands as they go. Maybe you look at your thumbs. This is connecting to what we did as babies to learn. And it is so important for adult years. Tilting from the middle to the left, following with the eyes and the face. So when my eyes follow, I'm going to let my head roll. The only time I wouldn't do that is if I said keep the head still, and then I just took the eyes. So the head is rolling with you. Following with the head and eyes. Only go as far as is comfortable, so stay within that easy range. Continuing the movement. Feeling how the back of the head rolls on the floor as you do this. Gentle. Make it even easier. Easy enough to feel like there's a sense of coordination between the movement of the arms and hands and the eyes and head. Feeling again how the right shoulder lifts and the left shoulder takes on some more weight and presses as you go to the left. And as you go to the left, the back of your head rolling a little bit. What's the easiest way you think would be to breathe with this movement? See how you could breathe with this that makes it easy for you. Maybe you breathe in as you go to the left, maybe you breathe out. Experiment, see what works for you. Maybe you just breathe ongoing. But one thing I would try is breathing in or out as you go to the left and in or out as you come up. And just see what works better. Where is your body more relaxed? And now begin to pause with arms like this. You're going to look at the ceiling and find a spot to look at. Now make sure both your eyes are on that same spot. So if you don't have a dot, make one up. Have both of your eyes fixed on that same spot. We're going to roll everything around the eyes. So the eyes stay fixed, but I'm going to roll my head, arms, and chest, and everything else to the left, which means I'm left looking out of the corners of my eyes. So my eyes are glued to the ceiling, even though my head is moving. I'm going to demonstrate some more in seated. Eyes are glued forward. So your eyes don't move, but everything moves around your eyes. And I can't tell you how many times this happens in life because I don't think it does in these days, but this is so important for our eyes moving around. Letting the eye stay stuck on that point on the ceiling. Only go as far as is comfortable, just like every other time. The back of the head rolls on the floor a little bit. The eyes don't move, but the back of the head rolls. And you feel like it's an anchor point. And now this time, go ahead and pause in the middle. Have your eyes and head fixed toward the ceiling as though there's a rope between your nose and the ceiling. So eyes and head stay, and arms and chest go. So you go without your head and eyes, but you take the arms and chest to the left. So my head and eyes are straight, but I'm moving the rest of me. Head and eyes stay straight. Like there's a rope from your nose to the ceiling. And feel how your shoulders change, but your head remains stable. Softening your neck as you do this, in your breath and in your jaw. Go very small until it feels comfortable. Again, it's not how far you go, it's how clearly you can feel what you're doing. Can you differentiate? The head remains fixed, so go lightly, softly, easily, and do a little less each time. Remaining soft in your neck, tilting the triangle easily to the left and back to the middle. We already connected our visual process by moving the eyes. So now we're going to, actually let's pause in the middle, having the hands up here. And now we're gonna glue like we're gluing the back of the head, or we have a rope from our nose to the ceiling, and we'll take the eyes but not the head. So eyes go, everything else goes, but head stays. So now we're doing something different. Our eyes are going, everything's going, but the head has to stay stable. So you're looking out at the corners of your eyes to the left to see the movement. So the head is glued, but the eyes are able to move. You can think of those creepy paintings where the eyes move, but nothing else does. Again, your jaw is soft and you're going small. And feel the coordination happen if you go simple and experiment. And now connect your eyes and head to the hands and take everything to the left very sensitively. Everything is going together now. It'll be easier, but go slowly anyway. Notice how your eyes, your head, and your arms are all going together now. Everything goes together. You have straight arms, not caring about how far you go. And noticing how the movement is now that we've done all those little variations with the eyes and head, just sensing it now and getting a feel for it. Do you go a little further? Or is it a little smoother? When you're ready, bring your arms all the way down and come to rest on your back. Your arms need a rest, but feel across your back as you rest to notice any differences in how you're contacting the floor. And you might notice differences in places other than the back as well. Maybe your pelvis is feeling different. Maybe your legs are feeling different. If you don't notice any differences at all, that's also okay. Those come in time. And without someone demonstrating the movement, because I'm talking more this time. It takes a long time for it to become straightforward, for you to be able to take it into the process of listening. But it's really important. So I'm going to demo for the beginning of this next movement. When you're ready, bring your legs to standing. Cross your right leg over your left. And as you know from before, we're just pouring the legs. Except now we've done something else. So I want you to notice, is it easier now? Is something about it more fluid, more graceful, more connected? Or does it have more quality? Start small if you can. If you haven't already gone big, simply just allow the legs to tilt just a little bit to your right. Feel how much of yourself is involved, how it travels through your spine, how it might be a little clearer. Notice if something changed about the way your head is rolling with the movement or how it's engaged with the movement. And if you don't go to the place where you need to stop in these movements, we can discern the differences. So just go slow. If you go to the place where you need to stop, we call that strain. So we don't go into strain. When you're ready and the knees are back or even to the side, however you like to bring your legs down, just pause and rest for another moment, because we're going to do the other side. So take a moment to compare sides, noticing differences. It might feel like we're not doing a lot, but some of these lessons where it feels like that, we're actually making the most change in the brain, nervous system, and for our overall health. As you rest, take a long moment to feel your right side and your left side and compare. For anyone who's interested in coming up to stand or sit to see how it feels in those positions, feel free. Sometimes halfway between, before we switch, we'll do that. The more we notice, the more our nervous system can help to balance and create homeostasis in our nervous system. So notice any differences there are to be noticed as you rest. And again, resting can be walking, sitting, or moving, or stillness. When you feel ready, come back to the floor if you're not already there. We're going to bring the legs up to stand, and this time we'll have the left leg crossed over the right. Just like before, this time we're letting them pour to the left. Go very slow because you haven't done the side yet. And just notice what it feels like to pour the legs a little bit to the left and back. Left leg is fully crossed over the right so that the back of the left thigh is resting on the right. And you're just pouring your legs to the left and back. Getting a sense of the movement on this side. Do about half of what you can do, half of what's possible, and see if you can do that. Tilt your legs to the left and bring them back, just about halfway. And notice any differences on this side. Don't make any assumptions about how it might be based on the other side. We have two very different sides, so we want to notice brand new what's going on this side. Maybe the legs go further. Maybe they have greater ease. Maybe they have more restriction. We won't know until we try. So notice what it is for you about this side. And then begin to sense the change in pressure underneath of your right foot as you tilt your leg complex to the left. And then notice the right side of your pelvis and what's going on there. Your legs. How does the turning of your spine move from your pelvis up through your lower back? So feel, how does it turn through your lower back? What happens there? If the legs are going here, what's happening to the lower back? And you can feel, if you want to feel what's happening. If you can put hands under and say, what's going on there? And you might feel that one arch is getting longer and larger, and the other one's kind of contracting and coming closer to the floor. You notice what you notice with your lower back. Continuing to take the legs slowly and easily. Again, feeling how it goes up through the lower back, and can you feel it in your head? Is there a movement of your head in response to the movement of the legs and the movement of the pelvis? And just notice how far you tilt the legs before you go into any straining, especially in the abdomen, especially in the jaw or the back or the breathing. How far can you go while keeping those things measurably consistent, just to a comfortable place? Are you holding your neck stiff and tight? And if you can you let that go? And the next time your legs go to the left, let them stay as far as they go to the left comfortably and just hang out there as long as it's comfortable. Pausing with your legs tilted to the left. Can you allow your breathing to be easy even though you're tilted? Can you allow your jaw to be soft? And in this way of holding the legs tilted, can you discover new places of holding that you can let go of in this configuration? These places would not have been noticed when you were just doing the movements. This is a certain configuration. So what can you let go of? And now bring the legs back to the middle. And then pause and have the legs come apart. You can have them in standing or long for the next part. We're going to go right into our triangle. So legs are in standing. We have our triangle up. This time we're going to our right and back. And again, start very small. The triangle is going to the right and back. You're in lying down. Same as before. Arms are undeformed, which means they don't bend. So we call this a constraint. This is where we say, this is how we're going to set up. This doesn't bend. Everything else can move. And we make those to allow everything else to get more flexible. And it works. So palms are stuck together like they're stuck with glue. You don't want them to slide as you're moving. You want them to stay glued together. Tilting your triangle just a little bit to the right, just seeing for yourself, how easy is that? And then notice, what is your chest doing as you do this movement? Is your chest doing anything? Is your breastbone, this bone right in front of yourself, is it moving? Or is it like it has a stake through it and it can't move? And so you're stuck there. And just notice if you feel stuck in your breastbone or if it's shifting and moving with you to the right. Allow your breathing to be easy. Feel how there's a little bit of a weight shift across the back of your rib cage as you tilt to the right and back. And can you now find a way to make this an even smaller movement? Even smaller. So small that your breathing is continuous and it doesn't change. Easy breathing. And pause in the middle and look at your triangle. And we're going to follow it to the right with the eyes, but not the head. So imagine that there's glue behind your head, and you're going to follow the triangle with only your eyes, but not the head. So the head doesn't roll. You're just looking out of the corners of your eyes. Triangle is going to the right, and you're following it with your eyes, but everything else is moving. Notice what happens through your back and your pelvis, and any pressure changes behind you across your back. And then once again, look up at the ceiling and allow the head and eyes to stay fixed in front of you and allow the arms to go. So head and eyes stay exactly where they are, but the arms go. Notice that the chest and the breastbone are moving, but your head stays straight in front of you along with your eyes. It's as though everything's moving around your head and eyes. What if you pressed in a little bit with your left foot? What would that do? Would that help you feel more involved in the movement or make it easier? But just the lightest touch, like you're pressing a piece of paper into the floor, nothing big. Just something that helps clarify the movement through the spine. And allow this to become smooth and easy. Imagine the back of the head glued to the floor. And now take everything together to your right. Eyes, head, and arms. And just do a little bit, just see how it feels. We're just going to do a couple of movements to see what the difference is now, in case your arms are tired. And when you're ready, rest your arms and rest your body completely. Lie long if you can. And feel how much information you get from your resting place, your contact with the floor. As your contact with the floor begins to change, that's a reflection of the changes that are happening in your central nervous system, in the motor cortex. We're integrating more and more of ourselves into any given movement, and that releases a ton of excess tension that we hold unconsciously. We release it spontaneously as we move, which is nice. It's a good way to release tension. We feel it as a change in the quality of contact with the floor. So if you've released spontaneous tension, you wouldn't have noticed it in the moment, perhaps. But what you will notice is that the way you rest on the floor is different. Your lower back might be closer. You might sense other differences of comfort. And that means you're letting some stuff go. You're more available to meet the floor, we could say, or available in new places. And that's the integration occurring. I don't have to tell you it's happening to you because you're the one sensing yourself how you feel on your back, right? So you know if there's been a change. When you're ready, bring the legs back to stand. Interlace the hands and place them behind the head. Bring the elbows forward. And on the exhalation, begin to make a movement of lifting your head only 1/10 of an inch. And I mean 1/10 of an inch. Bringing it back. Again, elbows are toward the ceiling. You're only lifting 1/10 of an inch. So small. It's like you barely even lift your head off the ground, if at all. We're not looking for anything big. We're just feeling what we're doing right now to enable the head to be able to lift. Noticing where you're working. Smallest beginning. What muscles do you use to help in the middle of the body to begin to lift this heavy weight? If something lifts, something presses. That's physics. So if we're lifting a heavy weight like our head, we're going to feel that same amount of pressing in our back somewhere in the middle. See if you can find that. Noticing the part of your back that's engaging somehow. We're going to clarify this a bit now. So go ahead and leave the left hand behind the head. Place your right hand on your sternum. Have it be flat above the breast, right on your sternum. So the right hand is on the sternum and it's flat. You have the palm of the hand there. The left hand is behind the head. And now when you feel ready, we're going to make a movement, resting the palm completely bone to bone, of starting to lift the head. And as we do, we're going to press into our breastbone, press down as we lift the head to feel that movement. So you're on your back, pressing down with your breastbone with your right hand, lifting the head with your left. Guiding the movement here as you experiment. The right hand is near your collarbone. Can you feel as you do this that the ribs and back start to engage a little bit more? See if you can notice that. That something is acting like a support behind you. You can feel the floor supporting you more as you do this. Think of your elbows as being connected. Maybe that makes this easier. And that might give you the access to the real pressing of the ribs if you imagine the connection between elbows. Go slow so you can find a way to make it easy, and only go as far as is simple without effort. And then pause and rest and bring your arms down and take a pause. And now feel the contact that your back is making with the floor, as well as your ribs. And now we'll interlace again in the non-habitual way. So depending on which thumb you have on top, we're going to switch the thumb. So I'm going to take all my fingers and switch them one over. So I have them here. I'm switching them one over, and then I have my left thumb on top. But if I switch them one over, I have my right thumb on top. So whatever your habitual is, you'll know it because it feels normal. Do the opposite. If you can find it, it's good for your brain. Bring it behind your head, those interlace hands. Once again, so shift the fingers, make sure everything is comfortable, and feel through your whole back, and then again, lift your head just 1/10 of an inch, as if you wanted to go in the direction of looking between your knees or your legs, depending on whether the legs are standing or bent. But you don't go that far. It's just an idea. Breathe out as you lift. Breathing out as you lift lets your chest shrink in the front and lengthen the back. To feel how those ribs in the back push into the floor and actually do the work they were designed to do for us to lift the head. It was never supposed to be hard. These ribs in our middle, they are what lift the head. If you want to see an example, I'm going to do one now. I'll do a couple of examples. So I have my middle ribs. They're completely lifting my head, so I have no work going on here at all. What's happening is these ribs are engaging with the floor by pushing, and every time I lift my head, my sternum sinks. These ribs push, and there's no effort to hold my head up. So you're looking for that kind of support. If you don't feel it yet, that's okay. You don't have to manufacture it. It will happen. Continue to do this, lifting the head just a little bit, feeling the length in the back, the shortening in the chest. And then take a pause and bring the arms out and rest. And make a very small movement now of rolling the head just a little right and a little left, just as we did in the beginning. And just to notice how that's going now. Head is rolling right and left. If you've done the first part of this lesson, you did this head roll. If not, if it's your first time, that's okay too. Rolling the head. If you've done it before, is it easier? Does it feel a little bit smoother? Can you go further with less effort? Is there more pleasure in the movement? Pause and rest when the head is in the middle, and just feel the contact once again that you're making with yourself through the floor. And notice what parts move as you breathe. And has that changed before you sensed in the beginning? If you did part one, where you felt the breath, has it changed now? And have there been any changes from the way that you were when you began this lesson? When you feel ready, come to a seated position, if you can, by way of rolling to the side and pushing yourself up to a seated position, in any position that feels comfortable. Notice if you feel more comfortable in seated. And if you can, turn yourself all the way around up until standing. I'm going to sit on the floor, but go ahead and come to standing and feel yourself over your feet. Now you can always rest longer and do this part later, but feeling yourself over your feet is important after this lesson to see how the work on the floor translates to how you stand, to make that easier. Does it feel more like the weight is supported by your bones? That is the intent. Notice if you feel more supported by your bones. Take a walk around. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I hope this lesson improved many things for you. Thank you for joining me.